Yeah, thank you very much, Obviously, there's the question on your screen. In your view, what amounts to racism? I think for every individual, it might be something different. We're such a diverse country here in South Africa. Do these old brands of days gone by still belong here? Well, we've got somebody who can talk about it. Brand South Africa undoubtedly suffers every time when there's a racist comment or a racist view on social media or old flags being pulled out and so forth. Now, this follows the inflammatory comments, of course, by our former DA member, Penny Sparrow. Standard Bank economist Chris Hart was also in the spotlight, as well as a Gauteng Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation Department employee, Vela Pikomalu, over racist tweets on Facebook. Now, to talk to us about the implications for Brand South Africa, we are joined in studio by Thebe Ikalafeng, the founder of the Brand Leadership Group. He's arguably the foremost global African branding and reputation architect, advisor, and author. Good morning.
Good morning, Eben.
Lovely to have you with us as always.
Thank you so much.
Before we go into what this means for the brand, I want to, as a South African, what do you make of what's been going on in South Africa the last 3 weeks or month or over the festive season, as some people would say?
Well, I think what's been happening is an awakening of an incomplete project called Brand South Africa. Because I think in the 21 years that we've lived under perhaps an illusion of a perfect society. Yeah. And what you're seeing now, you'll be seeing the unraveling of that perfect society. The ideals are there, but the reality is beginning to bite us.
You talk about perfection, but perfection is quite often just an ideal. Should we as South Africans agree that we can be perfect in our imperfection as a society, and social cohesion should really be the activism that we're striving for?
Of course, of course. You know, this brand South Africa, or this idea of a South Africa, was cemented in several places. The Freedom Charter of 1955 laid the foundation of the type of society that South Africa can become. And that was reinforced when Mandela was made president. I think if you remember his concluding remarks about never, never again shall this society suffer from the indignity among its races. And then this was affirmed further by Desmond Tutu when he spoke about, in 1996, I think, where the conclusion of the Constitution.
Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
Truth and Reconciliation, but at the sign-off of the Constitution, when he said a rainbow nation finally at peace with itself. Yeah. We can strive to be a better nation because we've got the fundamental pillars of that. Endemic to what South Africa is tolerance, is diversity, and is inclusiveness. Damage
is caused whenever it seems as if we inflict this damage on ourselves. But I think it has to be made clear to everybody, especially people across the continent. This is the minority. There's no doubt that there's a minority that's making it very difficult for the rest of South Africa to come to terms with this dream.
Well, it's not just about racism, actually. If you recall the xenophobic attacks of last year, this is just another manifestation of the instability, or if you will, the incompleteness of our process to transform the Republic of South Africa. What I remember vividly the president saying last year, and I agree with him, that one of the things that South Africa has failed to deal with in its 21-year history is to be able to tell South Africans, or to encourage South Africans, or to mobilize South Africans to understand that the struggle, or the mode of fighting that brought us here is not the same as that which will take us into the future. So taking us into the future is this respect for diversity, respect, tolerance for difference and all those. So I think our challenge as a country, is really how do we build a cohesive nation which all belongs or strives for the same ideal. I think as a country, that is the one big challenge that we have. We have focused on many other things, grants, social grants, if you will, providing houses, providing roofs,
closing the inequality gap.
But what we should have done, we should have also focused on bringing all South Africans together.
The reality is we are here now.
Yes, we are.
We are together, whether we like it or not. We are here now.
We are in it. We're in it together.
Yeah, as the expert, In your personal capacity, what do you think needs to happen next, and what do you see happening? If you can maybe juxtapose those.
Well, I think the most important thing that needs to happen is to get everybody to understand what is the ideal of South Africa? What does South Africa stand for? Because if you ask everybody what are the values which bring us together as South Africans, not everybody is able to articulate the values which bring us together. So we have a major job to go out and resell the South African story, resell the South African narrative, resell what is it that we want to take future for, not just for us, but also for future generation. So to me, that's the most important thing, agreeing on what the vision of South Africa is, what the values which underpin this country are, and what our role as citizens is in this whole transformation.
The individual, myself, what should I espouse, live every day in order to build that dream or to do the job that you say we have in front of us? The individual, what should we go out and what should we live?
Your job as an individual is to do what Mama Gandhi said, is to be the change that you want to see in the world. Your job is to love South Africa every day. Your job is to reach out to your different neighbor, to your unequal neighbor, to your foreign neighbor, and welcome them to South Africa and tell the South African story.
This is a picture that's very concerning. We had this standoff. Old flags, that of course has no place in the South Africa that we're building. How do you view these kinds of images?
Well, these kind of images, they just reinforce the fundamental problem that we have, that we are not all in it together, that we don't all believe in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, the idea of the South Africa that we serve. We don't all pledge our allegiance to the flag of South Africa. The fact that you have people who still sing the stamp separately, and people who sing Nkosi Sikelel separately, that people still wave different flags, says the job is not done. It says the biggest job that we need to do as a country is to get everybody behind the symbolism of that flag. You see, the flag is just a piece of, not just a piece of cloth. It is actually the embodiment of the new South Africa.
Should we then, at a governmental level, should we be thinking along the American lines? The flag is outside everyone's house, and it's that symbol that all Americans almost live for. Should we have a similar idea develop within South African homes, maybe?
Oh, indeed. The most important thing we need to do, we need to conscientize South Africans. Do you know, to get to South Africa to where it is, everybody had to be conscientized against the system and for the ideal of South Africa. What we need to do in this country, it is a tragedy that if not every school has got a flag of South Africa flying. It is a tragedy that we don't all sing the national anthem with the same enthusiasm and with the same understanding, and in every single environment which represents South Africa. You know, when one thing I said to the president last year during the xenophobic attack, I said, the president, in order to transform South Africa, to reintegrate South Africa into the broader continent, we need to do three most important things. One, we need to adopt the African nation, the African Union flag, because it's going to speak to our identity with the rest of the continent. We need to get everybody to sing the AU anthem that will speak to our understanding of the vision of this continent. And we need to celebrate African Union 25th of May every year as a public holiday where everybody comes together. We need to do the same job for the Republic of South Africa. If you look at what we do on the 27th of April, we all view it as a holiday. We don't all rush up and pledge allegiance to South Africa, compared to the 4th of November in the US, where they pledge allegiance to the union of the...
To the flag, to the union.
Indeed, and to the ideals and to the value. We need to stand together and say, I am South African, and that should mean something.
I thank you, Thebe Ikalafeng. That is profound words. I am South Africa. You are South Africa. It's all of our duty to build brand South Africa. It's all of our duty to protect brand South Africa. Of course, in light of recent events, we ask you, in your view, what amounts to racism? Love to hear from you. We'll put it up as soon as they come in.